Are you enjoying the game today, too? Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Now, if the game you were playing today happened to be Hudson's 1986 Famicom classic, Takahashi Meijin no Boken Jima, I think the honest answer to that question might be a very frustrated no.
Oh, absolutely not. Because today we are strapping on a digital leaf skirt, grabbing a tiny little stone axe, and just diving headfirst into a game that is famous for really two things.
And what are those?
Its massive success and its legendary, soul-crushing difficulty.
That's it exactly. This game, which most of you probably know internationally on the NES as Hudson's Adventure Island, it sold over 1 million copies in Japan. It really became like the side-scrolling action title for the Famicom, or the FTC, as we'll call it.
And our mission today is to unpack that glorious chaos. We've got a whole stack of sources on its weird origins as a character-swapped port, its completely bizarre mechanics, and how a game that looks so happy and cheerful could just shatter the dreams of an entire generation.
We're going to find out why this game gives you anxiety, what is the deal with that dreaded devil eggplant,
The eggplant.
and how a single sequence with 3 bats became one of the most infamous challenges in video game history.
Yeah, and we're really going to frame this whole deep dive around that central contradiction. The bright, cartoony art style that just hides this brutal, unforgiving clockwork system that demands, machine-like perfection.
It's a tension that made it unforgettable. Okay, so let's set the stage. The premise is, it's pretty standard, right? Damsel in distress.
Very standard. We're playing as Takahashi Meijin, the celebrity face of Hudson Soft at the time, in his little leaf skirt and hat, and he's running across Adventure Island to rescue his girlfriend, Tina.
Who's been kidnapped by the big bad, King Quiller, or Kuradai.
Right. But the story is simple. The origins are anything but. This Famicom game is actually a direct port, developed by Hudson, of an arcade game, a Sega and Westone arcade game called Wonder Boy.
This is such a fascinating piece of early console history, because it wasn't just a port, it was a complete identity swap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, our sources say Hudson licensed the gameplay, the maps, everything. But they ripped out the original main character and just slotted in their own celebrity superstar, Takahashi Meijin.
The famous 16-shot master himself.
The one and only. And this was, his marketing genius. The FPC was so huge in Japan, and Meijin was so famous, that most Japanese kids genuinely thought Boken Jima was the original. They had no idea it came from the arcade.
It just shows you the power of that celebrity endorsement back then. It wasn't just some game, it was Takahashi Meijin's game.
For sure. And the international release kind of reflects that new identity, too. When it came to the NES, it was called Hudson's Adventure Island. And the main character was renamed Master Higgins.
Master Higgins, yeah. Same game, just, a different face depending on where you live.
And the structure of the game tells you right away what you're in for. It's got 8 areas, each with 4 rounds. So that's 32 stages total.
And here's the kicker for anyone used to say Super Mario Bros., which came out a year before. There are no warp zones.
None. 0. You have to beat all 32 stages one after the other. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and you're sprinting the whole time.
I gotta mention the music, too. The music was also completely original, composed by Jun Chikuma. It really added this incredible atmosphere, different themes for the jungle, the sea, the forts. It's such a key part of the whole vibe.
It is, because that upbeat music is constantly at odds with the game's core mechanic, which is designed to just stress you out completely.
Which brings us to the systems and that constant horrible race against time. The absolute core of Adventure Island is the vitality gauge. It's not just health, it's a countdown.
That's right. It's this bar at the top of the screen that is just constantly ticking down, and if it hits 0, you die. Instantly. Most of us just called it the hunger meter.
Yeah, that's what I called it. You have to keep grabbing fruit just to stay alive long before an enemy even touches you. The clock is the main villain.
The pressure is just nonstop. And can we talk about how you start the game? You start completely barehanded, no weapon.
Nothing. If you die, you go back to the checkpoint with no way to defend yourself. You're just so vulnerable.
You have to immediately smash an egg to find the stone axe, the Ishiono, just to get a basic attack.
Yeah.
And even that is so limited. It's this little arcing projectile. You can only have 2 on screen at once.
It's a very basic tool for a game that demands so much from you. But the items, that's where things get really chaotically brilliant.
Let's start with the good stuff. The ideal find is the magical fire. It's the upgrade from the axe, and crucially, it can destroy those little rocks on the ground.
The Oto Iwa, the ones that just trip you and drain your energy, missing the fire in a rocky area is just, it's a death sentence.
It really can be. And then you've got the milk. Regular milk fills you up, but the rare red milk.
Why is the red milk better?
Because it doesn't just restore you, it expands your maximum vitality from 13 up to 16. It gives you a few more precious seconds of life.
It's that little bit of hope. But then, the game immediately takes that hope away with the single worst item you can find in an egg.
The devil eggplant. The Akuma Nasubi.
Oh, the sheer panic of picking that thing up by accident. It sticks to you and drains your vitality bar at this terrifying speed until you're down to just 2 bars left.
You have to find fruit, like immediately, or you're dead. It's a trap disguised as a power-up, and the lore behind it is just the best part.
Come on.
Supposedly, it was included because eggplant nasubi was Takahashi Meijin's most hated food.
Wait. They designed a major game hazard, a key difficulty feature, around a food the celebrity mascot maybe didn't like?
Yes. Is that kind of bizarre, almost silly logic that feels like a man's-eye comedy routine, just this internal feud made into a game mechanic. I mean, he later said it wasn't even true, but the legend was already out there.
That's incredible. But on the flip side, if you're lucky, you might find the 1 UP item.
Yeah, the little doll of Meijin himself, called Toshiyuki-kun,
Wow.
which is a fun little Easter egg because Toshiyuki is Takahashi Meijin's real first name.
A little nod to the fans. And then you have the enemies. You've got the slow snails, the annoying jumping Caro frogs.
And the spinning Puda pigs, who are usually easy points. But the real threat is the Coyote.
Right, the 2-legged ones that rush you from behind after you pass a red flower. They force you into this high-stress reaction while you're already trying to manage the clock and jump over pits.
But if you manage to hit one on the right side of the screen, it drops a little Famicom controller for 1,000 points. A nice touch.
And after all that stress, you finally get to the boss, King Quiller. And this is the one moment of relief in the whole game.
Because he's not that hard. But more importantly, the vitality clock stops during the boss fight.
Finally, it's the only time the game lets you just breathe and focus on one thing without that timer draining away. It's like a little island of normal game design.
Unfortunately, that island sinks pretty fast. Because now we have to talk about the skateboard.
Ah, yes. The skateboard paradox. I remember finding it and thinking, awesome, I'm faster, I have a shield, and then immediately realizing my mistake.
It's the ultimate double-edged sword. It makes you faster, sure, but you cannot stop. You can't even slow down. You are locked into mandatory forward scrolling.
And it just pushes you right into enemy patterns or holes you could have easily avoided on foot. It was almost always, as you said, wiser not to ride it.
For sure. It gives you one hit of protection, but then you usually just careen into a second enemy or off a cliff immediately after. It feels like a speed booster designed to make you die faster.
And that ties into the game's overall brutal difficulty. The challenge isn't just the enemies, it's the combination of tricky platforming and that relentless clock, which forces you to play perfectly at high speed.
The difficulty curve in the later areas isn't a curve. It's a sheer vertical wall. You had to memorize everything. And if you ran out of lives, that was it. Game over.
Unless you knew the secret.
The one single act of mercy the developers put in the game. You're talking about the Hachisuke.
The life-saving Hachisuke.
Yep. It's a one-up item hidden in an egg in Area 1, Round 1. And only if you find that specific item do you unlock the ability to continue after a game over.
If you miss it in 1-1, your chances of ever seeing the end of the game are basically 0. It's like the game demands, a secret password just to be playable.
And you need those continues because you're going to die over and over and over at what is probably the most famous choke point in the entire game. Area 8, Round 3.
It's a legend, known simply as the 3 bats.
Sanbiki no Basa.
Yeah.
It is a sequence of jumps across dropping platforms where you have to attack 3 low-flying bats with perfect timing. One tiny mistake, and you're dead. Start over.
The pure brutality of this one section is maybe best shown by that story from the Japanese TV show Game Center CX.
Oh yeah. When their staff tried to clear the game, they spent a total of 28 hours on it. And of those 28 hours, 9 of them were spent on just that one 3-bat section and 8-3.
9 hours on one screen. That just, it completely destroys Takahashi Meijin's famous slogan, game is 1 hour a day.
Well, to be fair, he meant 1 hour of focused practice, not, beating the whole thing. But try telling that to a kid in 1986 who just spent their entire Saturday failing that one jump. It really taught a generation of gamers what hard really meant.
And despite breaking all those childhood dreams, the game was a huge success. So naturally, it spawned a legacy.
It did. The first thing was an anime adaptation Bugtail Honey in 1987. But more importantly for games, this is where the Adventure Island series and the Wonder Boy series went their separate ways for good. They evolved into two totally different franchises.
But the developers for Adventure Island clearly learned some lessons from the first game's brutality. The sequels, they tried to be a little nicer.
They did. Takahashi Meijin no Boken Jima 2 in 1991 was way milder. It introduced the rideable dinosaurs, which was huge.
And the item stock system. That was the game changer. It let you start a level with an axe or a dinosaur, so you didn't have that frantic barehanded panic every time you died.
Exactly. It was like an apology to all the players they traumatized.
Yeah.
And they just kept adding more. Boken Jima 3 in 1992 added a boomerang and more dinosaurs. They were making it more complex, but also more manageable.
But the final Famicom game, that was the biggest change of all. We're talking about Takahashi Meijin no Boken Jima 4 from all the way in 1994.
A huge departure. They got rid of the constantly draining vitality clock entirely. Instead, you got a normal health bar, like an HP gauge, and passwords. It was much more like an RPG.
So they completely moved away from the punishing arcade-style gameplay. It sounds like a much more beginner-friendly, adventure-focused game.
It was a conscious choice to tame the chaos.
Yeah.
And because it came out so late for the Famicom, very few copies were made. That game is now a super rare, premium collector's item.
So looking back, the core takeaway here is that the original Boken Jima was this perfect storm, right? It fused an already great game engine from Wonder Boy with massive celebrity power.
It sold 1 million copies and launched all franchise. But we have to remember it for what it was. A legendary challenge defined by that relentless clock and capped off by the sheer, brutal difficulty of those late game stages. It showed us the absolute limit of 8-bit frustration.
It really did, and that brings up a question for today, you know? With modern re-releases on virtual consoles, you have save states and rewind features. So is it better to experience the game as it was intended, this brutal, high-stakes challenge?
Or is the real satisfaction just using those modern tools to finally see the ending that so many of us couldn't even get close to back in 1986? I mean, is the real point of the game the struggle or just the destination?
Well, a game be fun tomorrow, too. Have a nice game.
I'm just going to try to jump those 3 bats one more time. Don't worry, I've got my save state ready.